Well, hey folks, and welcome back. Today we're going to talk about three of the main factors that shape the shape of your shots. We're going to talk about speed, angle, and height, and how you can harness those to hopefully get the shot you want. Let's talk about it right after the intro. Okay, so these little suckers will fly in a lot of different ways, but each one of them has their own characteristics how they want to fly, all things being equal. And I'm using this guy. It's just a remix creature. It is an understable disc. It is a 5.5 minus 2.1, I believe. It's flippy, and what that means, if I throw a right-handed backhand flat and straight, it's going to want to do this as it goes out. But I can do things to influence that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you its base flight, and then we're going to talk about how we can make changes to that flight. Some of y'all already got this. You understand. You can flip off. You can go over and see, flip off. Woo! You can go check out Robbie C's video or somebody else's. But for some of y'all, hopefully this is going to be helpful for you to understand how you can manipulate any disc. Well, okay, not any disc, but how you can override the disc's natural characteristics. I've talked about this before, but I think it's so crucial for shot shaping, I'm going to talk about it some more. Okay, so I'm going to throw a base shot with this disc so you can see its base characteristics. I'm just going to try to throw it nice and flat out there. See how it rides out and just wants to keep a little bit of fade, keep going this way. Okay. But we can influence how that flies by adding three different factors. And the first one is going to be speed. And so what do I mean by that? Well, I'm glad you asked. So there are four flight characteristics put in every disc. You know, your speed, your glide, your turn, and your fade. And we're going to talk about the third one, which is the turn. And it's called high speed turn. And what that means is the faster it goes, the more it wants to turn, the more the forces are wanting to pull it opposite of its fade. And all these things are going to be talked about from a right-hand backhand stance for right now. So what that means is the faster you throw the disc, the more it's going to want to turn before it will eventually try to fade out. So therefore, if I throw it faster, it's going to turn more. Let's see if I can do it. I'm going to try to put a little booty into this one. It ran out of room, but it was going to carry even more. Did you see? It was holding that, and it actually had a little bit more of this. Now you can see it even more if you've got a wider open place and even more flippy disc. You can really, sometimes if you've seen somebody just over cranks a disc and it just wants to turn into a roller, that's because they put too much speed into a flippy disc. So now, here's the other side of that. Let's say I have a flippy disc that I want to do a stable shot with. Well, if I throw faster and it turns more, the opposite should be true. If I throw softer, it shouldn't flip as much. So I can take even a flippy disc and get it to fade out more by simply just slowing the disc down, throwing it not as hard. It holds, but it doesn't turn and then finishes to the left. Did that make sense? Because I didn't put enough speed on it for it to get that high speed turn, it just kind of went straight and then faded off. Okay, so speed is a very important factor to how the disc is going to fly. That's why Calvin Heimberg, who can throw 80 miles an hour, his discs fly differently than somebody that throws 45 miles an hour, because the discs are dealing with different factors and different speed variables. So he can really crank a disc over. That's why he needs more overstable discs. Okay, then the second thing is angle. Hopefully the speed thing should have been pretty quick, but angle, this one should be pretty easy too, but you've got to think about the disc like a wing, and the front edge of it is the nose of it. And so we're just talking about, for right now, we're just talking about the angle. If I throw it here, where is that disc going to go? It's going to go harder, even harder left, because I've set the wing to turn left. Whereas if I put it on this angle, where's it supposed to go? It's going to go this way because the wing and the angle are carrying it this way. Or if I throw it flat, hopefully it's going to fly pretty flat. but we get to shape the initial direction of the disc and can influence the overall flight just based on this angle here. So for instance, I'm going to throw one on Anheuser, more angle, and let's see what happens. It's pretty much almost going to become a cut roller at the end there. It's going to keep going. But now I can take that same disc and drop it down on what we call hyzer. The outside edge is pointing away and down. And now, even though I may throw it fairly hard, it's not going to go all the way over. It's going to go like a hyzer shot. It tried to turn. Did you see it? It was trying to turn, but because of the angle, it couldn't get all the way from here to over. It's got to break the neutral plane. It's got to get at least to here to start turning. It never had enough to get past here. As a matter of fact, it only went from here to about there. So it was still going to be hyzering the whole time. Are you following me? So we can introduce more speed or less speed to help influence how much it's going to turn or how much it's going to fade. And then we can influence the throw by how much angle we put it on. And then finally, the last one that gets a lot of y'all, come on, you can admit, it gets you a lot, is height. You will hear people talk about nose angle, nose angle, nose angle. Well, what does that mean? Well, that's this guy right here. It's up and down. And when you throw it, remember, this is a wing. This influences whether it goes right or left. Well, this influences whether it goes up or down. But here's the other secret to things. The higher you throw a disc, the more stable it's going to be at the end. Let that sit for a second. The higher you throw a disc, the more stable it's going to be at the end. Why? Because it's got to climb that hill. You think about this thing as a skateboard going up a hill. Skateboard, no, a ball. You're rolling a ball up a mountain. It's going to go up the mountain, but then it's got to come back down at some point. Well, if all things being equal, you throw a ball straight up, it rolls straight down. But things aren't equal with a disc because it's spinning. It goes up the mountain, but then the spin is going to want to have it, when it falls, it's going to want to have it fall back to the left. That's called the low speed fade. The disc is spinning in that direction. So I throw it up, it's going to, at the end, even if it's coming over this way, if I get it up high enough, it will start to break over and it'll come back this way. And so what does that mean? Well, let me demonstrate. If I throw this guy, and I'm going to try to throw this nice and flat, like I've done before, but I'm going to keep it, well, let's do the extremes. Nose down, super nose down. Yep, I was nose down. We want something higher than that. All right, flat nose. I kind of pulled that one a little, but you get the idea. That was nice and flat. Now I'm going to do that same shot, but I'm going to go higher, and I'm going to throw it flat. Now here's where people can get confused. If I throw this high, but I throw it on Anheuser, it's going to go up high, but it's still on this angle, so then it's going to come down this way. We're talking about a disc that's on at least neutral, or this way when it gets to the top of the hill. So you've got to be aware. It's not a guarantee if I throw it high enough, it's going left. Well, if I get the angle wrong, both angles, it's never coming back. So I'm going to throw this flat, but I'm going to throw it higher. It's going out, going out, going out, and then it's dropping to the left. Okay? Does that make sense? And so this is where I talk about the higher you throw it, the more stability you can get. Did you notice that went over about 20, 30 feet to the left? Well, what if I throw it even higher? It's up higher. That may go over the fence, almost over the fence. Probably went right out of the screen. But you can use height to get more stability, in the sense that if I need to get around something and I've got open space, even if I've got a flippy disc, I can make it get around that corner simply by throwing higher. You've actually done this inadvertently when you've gotten nose up. You've tried to throw straight down the field, and what happens, especially when you're first starting out? You come out and you go to throw, you go up, and then it just crashes to the left. All your discs are crashing to the left because you're getting the angle. First of all, not a lot of speed, you're getting the angle like this, and you're getting nose up. So you're doing all three to make every disc in your bag overstable, because speed, angle, and height are interacting with your disc and how you throw it. So what you're going to want to try to work on in all three of those, yes, start building up so you can get more speed. The more speed you have, speed is good, speed is nice. We want speed, but we don't want to kill ourselves. But if we can get more speed, that's always good, because then we've got more options. Every disc has more options, because then I can regulate how I throw the disc. If I've got an 80-mile-an-hour throw, I don't have to always throw 80 miles an hour, but I can take a disc that I throw 80 miles an hour that turns this way, and now I throw it 60 miles an hour and it goes like this. I throw it 50 miles an hour and it goes like this. So you can always slow down your speed, but if you don't have the upper speed, you can't just magically earn more speed. And then the angles. If you're always constantly finding your disc flailing off to the left, and it's not because the discs are overstable, it means that you're releasing with an angle already. My natural bent, my natural throw coming from tennis is to release with a little bit of hyzer. So I know my mess ups are mostly going to mean that they're going to go off to the left. And so I need to take that in consideration. So what I need to do is really try to work on getting my angles up to flat, especially if I'm needing to go straight or I'm needing to pull to the right. And then finally, if I'm finding my discs are falling out to the left more and more, I really need to work on getting my nose down so that they're not getting that extra fade at the end, but they're actually gliding and taking their full advantage of their glide all the way to the target. I hope that helps. That's just giving you a little nugget. I mean, this is going to be basic for some of y'all, but for that, we're always getting new players in here, and I just want to reiterate that these are the things we need to think about. Speed, angle, height when we're throwing. And if we're having trouble with our disc not going the way we think they should, or we don't know how to shape the disc, we can start to factor those in. I want to bend this disc more to the right. Well, I'm going to probably need to throw it as fast as I can with a little more angle, and hopefully keep it a little bit more nose down so it doesn't flare out at the end. So there you go, guys. I hope that helps. Please leave some comments. Let me know any questions you have. And I appreciate you coming along. It really does mean a lot to me. You can check out my store, get some merch if you want. That'd help me out a lot. But more importantly, I'm just glad you're out there throwing discs, and I hope to see you out on the course.